Now, for the last type of problem on this lesson, they're going to have you look at story problems using radicals and then how you could use square roots to solve some problems. This will tend to vary in terms of the difficulty level here, but these ones are pretty straightforward in terms of the difficulty level. Let's just go ahead and read through this problem. So it looks like teachers adjust test scores when a test is difficult. So then one teacher's formula for adjusting scores, they take it's a equals 10 times square root of r, where a is the adjusted score, r is actually what the score they actually got in the test. Okay, so if the raw scores on one test range from 36 to 90, in other words, the worst score on the test was a 36 and the best score that somebody got on that test was a 90, you hear a lot of teachers talk about curving a test. Sometimes teachers might use formulas such as these to curve a test. And so now they're asking, so what would be the range of the adjusted scores? All right, well, here's how they did it. Using that formula, the raw scores here are 36 and 90, so they just did 10 times the square root of 36. So 10 times 6 would be 60. 10 times square root of 90, see how they approximated that one? And then multiplied that out, rounded it to the nearest integer, so 95. So the adjusted scores would range from 60 to 95. This is kind of a funny example if you look at this one over here. If you take a second here, maybe I'll give you a couple of seconds to kind of work through this one. What if the raw scores went from 0 to 100? In other words, the worst score somebody got on a test would be 0, and then the best score somebody got on the test was 100. Would the teacher even adjust those scores? Think about that for a second. Pause the video and see if you can kind of steal this same little template right here. And the template I'm talking about here is, could you do this part? And what would be so special about this part right here and the two scores you would get? Okay, let's go ahead and pause it and give that a look. So in the first situation there, what would happen if the first score, the lowest of the scores, was 0? Plugging that 0 in there for r, wouldn't we have something that looks like this? 10 times the square root of 0. And isn't the square root of 0 just 0? So really we have just 10 times 0, and so then 10 times 0 is just 0. So that'd be the lowest score that the teacher would use would be a 0. If we put in the highest score, 10 times the square root of 100, well, isn't the square root of 100 just 10? And so you have 10 times 10 would be 100. So wait a second. That would mean the teacher's scores would range from 0 to 100. Notice they wouldn't change at all if the scores were from 0 to 100. So it would not make any sense to do a curved test if somebody got a 0 and someone got 100. It makes sense to curve tests when stuff like this happens, where somebody gets a really low score or somebody gets a really a score that's not even close to 100%. All right, so there's section 6-1. Good luck on that homework, everybody.